Hi guys, welcome back to the Chronicles of the Journey. I'm your host Alexis, per usual, and today I want to share with y'all the journey I've been on to build a better relationship with myself and how you can do the same thing. When it comes to like stepping out and doing things out of the norm for me, I never wanted to do it, and I would always hold myself back in a sense, and I would make excuses because deep down I just didn't trust myself, and I didn't know that was a problem until as of recently. So I'm like, why do I keep running into a brick wall? Why am I experiencing so much discomfort when it comes to doing new things? When it comes to letting go? When it comes to pushing myself in certain aspects? And I realized it was me. I was the one standing in my way. I didn't trust me because there's been so many times where I failed to show up for myself. I didn't do the hard thing. I didn't have my back. I put other people before me. I put other things before my well-being. So how could I trust myself, you know? So first things first, let's talk about where this may stem from, right? So we all have our conditionings. We all are conditioned to be a certain way. However you were raised in your household or whatever your environment was like, it plays a role. And I've done so well with doing the work, but this one thing has went over my head so many times, and I'm just now nailing that shit in the motherfucking grave, and like nailing it in the coffin, and it's been my mommy issues. Stop. I know. The parental issues. I realized the relationship I used to have with my mom was still deeply rooted in me. It affected how I went about my relationships with other people. The validation I sought from those relationships with other people ultimately corrupted the relationship that I had with myself. It severed the relationship I had with myself because I was in that routine of loving them how I didn't get loved as a child. And now that I can see the pattern, I'm focused on rebuilding. I realized I've been listening to my inner child, and she's kept me in positions that I shouldn't be in anymore as the grown woman that I am. Listening to that inner child is good for certain things, but when it comes to growing, you gotta know when to let her needs go. You know what? It's not even denying your inner child of their needs. It's more like deciding that maybe you should give your inner child those needs. Maybe you shouldn't seek it through other people. Maybe you shouldn't wait for that validation from others. Give it to yourself. That's what I've realized. So rebuilding has ultimately looked like me loving myself more, me making decisions constantly every single day that reflect the love I have for myself. Whether that's showing up at the gym, whether that's showing up on here, whether that's showing up with cooking healthy food at home, whether that's my skincare routine, I'm showing up for myself. The choices I make within my relationships now, I'm constantly showing up for myself because the smoke is cleared, you know? Pouring into myself, giving myself the love that I sought so desperately is healing me ultimately. And I know that's so cliche. Oh my God, self-love this, self-love that. But y'all, they kind of like, they ate, y'all know they ate. It's true, like self-love is the key. And obviously I couldn't get to this point without loving other people first, without being a people pleaser, without hitting my head 1,000 times before I got the bigger picture. If you're at that point, there's nothing wrong with it, but on the other side of it is self-love. Pouring into you like you've always needed to. Like someone else needed you to pour into them. Instead of you giving that love to somebody else relentlessly, give it to yourself. That's step number one to rebuilding. Self-love. Pour into you. The way you be showing up for everybody else, you need to be showing up for yourself in that same sense, if not more. You need to be the #1 star in your show. Always. Build those boundaries. Say no. If your work isn't done, don't go. Put yourself first. And that's easier said than done, but I think I'm gonna make another video about boundaries, okay? Another key point has been my emotions. I've allowed my emotions to guide me into situations that maybe I shouldn't. Like I just talked about how all of my actions were stemmed from what I lacked as a child. To be frank with y'all, love is not a weakness, it's a strength. But what you feel a lot of the times is what has been conditioned. So instead of following what you feel all the time, use deep discomfort and friction as your guide. I know that may sound crazy, but that is how you will align and ultimately create a better relationship with yourself, right? So boom, say you're in a relationship or you're within a friendship, some sort of situation, even a job. If you've ever experienced like extreme confusion or lack of clarity, to build a better relationship with yourself within these spaces, take that confusion and or lack of clarity as a no. Take that confusion and or lack of clarity as redirection. If it's not a for sure hell yes, if it's not a for sure like this feels good, this is where I should be, and you feel aligned, maybe it's not for you. If you can feel it in your stomach, in your gut, and it's hurting your feelings, it's triggering you, and it's just genuinely driving you away in a sense, it's not for you. And so in situations like that, the best thing you can do to build a better relationship with yourself is take the situation as a no and start moving around. Because the longer you hold on in times like that, in situations like that, the more you're going to be disconnected with yourself. Because that can be your intuition telling you, hey, I don't feel so safe here. This doesn't feel good. I don't feel honored. I don't feel loved. This doesn't feel right. And when that's the case, leave, stop it, move around, even journal. Why do I feel like this? What is the disconnect? How did I get to this point? How can I change it? Do what you can. But if that feeling continues, please leave. Holding on longer or staying in situations longer than you have to has been one of my biggest mistakes that I've made over and over. Pouring into people or into things thinking I could force a specific outcome, and or I would like expect them to move how I would move in their shoes. It's a suicide mission. You can lose yourself in it. You can dysregulate your nervous system. Please, for the love of you, take that discomfort, take that friction, that lack of clarity, that confusion as a guide to dip. Because if you've ever lost yourself before, I'm talking to y'all are grown, we all grown. If you've ever lost yourself before, you know that that is the worst feeling ever. And you don't ever want to give up your power in that sense to anything or anybody, because losing yourself in the world where you need you the most, when you need you to succeed, when you need you to be okay, nothing else matters when you're not okay, when you're not happy with who you are and where you are. Why risk losing you to stay, to feel this thing, to engage in it, when you can just cut your losses short and dip? Okay, it's nothing wrong with just saying, I deserve better than that. I am better than this. This crowd isn't for me. This person isn't for me. This career isn't for me. Like, no. That confusion and that lack of clarity is rejection. And a lot of us don't like rejection, so we try to avoid it. But ultimately, that rejection is just redirection. That rejection and that redirection will lead you to alignment if you just let it. I know I have a bit of I have control issues a little bit. Sometimes it's hard for me to just surrender and allow things to just be. But I can honestly say, since I've been building a better relationship with myself, I've done a lot of things, just trying new things just to get out of what I've been used to. And I've been rejected time after time after time after time. And after a while, it just stops hurting and you just find peace within it, because I've looked back and I've seen so many situations that I've avoided by being rejected. I'd be like, you know what? I don't think that was really for me anyways. I was just doing that so I can get to this point. I was just doing that so I would avoid this feeling. And ultimately, making moves out of desperation will also keep you out of alignment. Don't be that desperate. Don't neglect yourself that much to where you put yourself in situations you don't have to stay in or don't need to be in. The end goal is to remain flexible and to use that confusion and that lack of clarity and that friction and that discomfort, that deep discomfort, as a guide, rather than what you've known and what you feel, you know? And when I say what you feel, I mean like what you really, really want. Like, oh, this is a pattern for me. I do this all the time, but I really want it, so I gotta go do it. I gotta go do it. This is like, it's like a coping mechanism, you know, that those habits, halt on those and follow that deep discomfort. That same feeling that you get after dating that shitty guy, yeah, that should be your indicator. Like, maybe we should do something different next time. Maybe I don't belong with men like this. Maybe, you know, like that is your guide, not that habit, not that, I need this quick high. I'm doing this out of desperation. I'm doing this out of comfort. I'm doing this out of habit. No. We're not using that. We're using rejection as our guide, because rejection is redirection, and that redirection is for your best good, okay? That is for your higher good. That is for who you really want to be. Because I don't know what you believe in, but God has your best interest. That's where your best interest is. Your higher self has your best interest. So stay flexible. Stay extremely flexible. Like, don't allow that desperation to creep in. Don't allow those old habits to creep in and guide you when you know you want better for yourself. You know, when you know you deserve a better relationship with yourself, first and foremost. When you really get to see how severed your relationship with yourself is, you see how many aspects where you haven't shown up for yourself or where you failed yourself because of that deep-rooted fear. It shows up everywhere. And when you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's just like, wow. Wow. I can't believe I've been treating myself like this, you know? I can't believe I've put myself in a situation over and over and over again. Because when you take a step back from it all and you listen to that deep discomfort, that rejection, you'll realize like, oh, this could have been avoided. How about I start avoiding it, you know? How about I make better changes? This is not who I want to be anymore. And this has ultimately been holding me back. And I don't want to be held back anymore. I have places to be. I want to be a better woman. I want to be a better person, a better anything, a better friend, a better lover. It's just a matter of being open enough to see that you might be the reason why you keep going in circles. So when you think about repeating a pattern, when you think about acting out of desperation, out of habit, remember, you're sacrificing the relationship with yourself to do that. And there are consequences to those actions. You may not see it now, but it will show up in so many aspects. And you have to realize like, I'm a problem. I'm the problem. Or maybe the situation is the problem, but you put yourself in that situation over and over, and you denied yourself of your intuition and your discernment by rejecting that discomfort, by rejecting the rejection, because you want what you want when you want it and you want to keep what you have. But that rejection is your redirection, and it's going to lead you to alignment. And alignment will lead you to that happiness you've been seeking, to where you can pour into yourself, to where you can finally reach those goals, to where you can be the best version of you. And obviously it takes work, but the first step is to stop sacrificing the relationship with yourself to be loved, to be kept, to be validated. It's a dummy mission. I'm serious. If y'all can zoom in, y'all might be able to see the pain in my eyes. I'm serious. I'm dead ass. I know I just briefly spoke on discernment and alignment, but boom. Let's speak on it just a little bit more. Discernment is the ability to make a good decision, to have good judgment, basically. And that is built when you stop sacrificing yourself for comfort. That is built when you trust that rejection. That discernment strengthens when you stop sacrificing yourself, when you trust your intuition, when you listen to your gut. Once you leave those situations with this strengthened discernment, you can go into another situation, a better, or maybe not a better situation yet, and you'll be able to tell off rip, like, I know myself, I trust myself, this isn't for me. It's not for me, and I can tell already. I don't even need to put my energy, my time, and my love into this. I'm gonna keep moving. It all ties in together, and it's all strengthened by that one step. And that's not sacrificing your relationship with yourself for comfort. And to those of you who are scared, because it's a very scary process, it's a very hard step to take, trust me, when you make that first step, everything will align to make sure that you are okay. The hard phase of it all only lasts for a little bit, and then the days get better. It hurts less. You ultimately feel happy alone, happy out of that situation, happy broke even, just happier because you didn't sacrifice yourself to stay. So keep your head up, remain optimistic about change, stay flexible, and remain ready to evolve at all times. Remain ready to let go, remain ready to free yourself, because we value growing over here. We value evolution, okay? We value alchemy, all right? So do the work to stay bright, because when you know better, you do better. And now that you know better, what will you do with it? What will you do? Oh, okay. With that being said, I will see y'all next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for tuning in. Bye.